Have you ever been out shooting instant photography with your best friend, just having a ball? Then, afterwards, you're looking over the photos from the day, and one of you wants to keep a photo the other took. Well, murdering your friend is a thing of the past with the all-new portable scanner from Epson. The Epson Workforce ES-60W is now packed with wireless technology. So put away that cleaver and pull out your mobile phone. Scanning your instant bounties is as easy as saying cheese. Just fire up the Epson mobile app, line up your photo, and press scan. Now hug it out and try to forget that you almost murdered your best friend for a photo. You know the type of guy that was a jock in high school but ended up becoming a huge nerd? You know, someone that's not afraid to make a fool of themselves on the internet. And someone that likes to shoot Polaroid a little too much. Did I say huge nerd? You know, just an ordinary, everyday guy. Well, that's me. I'm just another Chris. Welcome. This feels gonna be a lot different because my studio is a little trashed right now. I've been working on a lot of stuff. I've had to tear a lot of it out of here for an event that I just wrapped up. So here you go. You get this really casual little nook. This little nook over here in the Just Another Chris headquarters underneath the Mall of America. But we're taking a look at the Epson scanner. So the scanner is pretty sweet, I gotta say. And you have two ways you can use it. You can use it on your phone or you can use it with your computer. And I do recommend using it with your computer for a lot of the higher resolution scans. But this thing is super nice to have while you're out and about, maybe traveling, hitting the road, out with your friends, shooting some photos, and be able to scan in the field. The reason that it is better on the computer is because you can actually scan up to 1200 DPI. And you can only do 300 when you are using it mobilely. What's DPI exactly? Well, that's basically just like the megapixel equivalent in the scanner world. The higher the number, the better resolution, the more clearer the picture is. So I've actually scanned the same photo multiple times at different DPIs. So let's do a quick comparison, shall we? Here's the first one, and as you can tell, it's a little blurry. This is scanned at 75 DPI. I would not recommend this. So let's move on to the 100 DPI. Not a whole bunch better, but it definitely is getting clearer. So let's bump up to where I would start with, and this is actually the maximum DPI you can do mobilely. So this is what you would get if you scanned it, you know, if you're out and about and not near a computer. 300 DPI. Now we're talking. This is something. Look at that. Okay. Looking really good. Super crisp, super clear. I mean, not super clear. It's pretty clear. It's pretty good. It's not horrible. But like I said, this goes up even higher. So let's check out 600 DPI. Boom. It's pretty good. It's pretty clear. And now let's check out 1200 DPI, which this one's gonna be slightly different because this is the final version. I actually just posted to my Instagram. I slightly increased the reds in this picture because it was a little off during the first scan. So there you go. And it's a little more straight. The maximum resolution you can get with this scanner, and it's pretty good. It's not amazing. I mean, again, it's good. It's not perfect. However, you may notice these lines going through the picture right here, right down the middle, right here. And oh, I got a hair right there. Look at that. I posted that on social. Come on, Chris, get your stuff together. But if we go back to the other ones, that line's gone. Look at that. See that line just disappears? What is that? I'm pretty sure this is dust, like a dust streak across your picture. So you want to make sure when you're scanning these in with this printer that you wipe that thing really clean. Otherwise, you're going to get some dust in there. And it can have this line. It's really not a big deal to fix, especially if you're in Photoshop. Find this tool called the Spot Heal Brush Tool. And then you come on over here. You can right click your mouse while holding the Alt button, and you can slide the brush size up and down. I'm gonna do it really rough for you guys, but then you just kind of click and drag. And what it'll do is it'll make it go away. Look at that. You can do that through the whole thing. There we go. Let's see. I'm doing it rough. Let's see what happens. That's pretty good. That's not bad. I can get rid of it super fast. Now, it's not a big deal if you're just doing one photo, but if you're doing 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 photos, it's really annoying. It's really bad. And then we do this to that little hair that got on the scan, and that's it. We're done. I mean, these scans come from this scanner does a pretty dang good job of making it accurate. Definitely. But there are some faults with this, and I'll show you some examples. Here we go. Darker images is where this scanner has some trouble. It gets these lines through it, and that's not dust, that's just the scanner itself that I am noticing. I have to butt in real quick because I didn't notice this the first time around when I was testing all this out, scanning the photos in. Those weird line streaks, things in the shadows and darker areas on the Polaroid images, those are only apparent in the Polaroid specific photos. I was scanning in the Instax photos and I was not getting that. Whatever Polaroid puts maybe on the coating of the front image, or maybe the film type itself, and getting those streaks lines. Instax doesn't do it whatsoever. Oh, and you may be asking yourself, what about Newton rings? Well, that's non-apparent anywhere. I have not seen that a single time in any of my tests. And so that's pretty cool. And that's because it's not making direct contact with glass. That's when you get Newton rings. But I just want to chime in real quick and let you guys know that finding that I didn't notice originally. You need to pay more attention. All right, back to your regular scheduled programming. So darker images can be a little bit hard. You can clean it up sort of in Photoshop or whatever editing software that you have. So that is an option. Here is another one. This one came out pretty good. This is straight out of the scanner. Nothing's been done to it whatsoever, and you can still see these lines going through it, and in the real image you don't have that, obviously. So darker images, it does not so well, but if you come over to a bright image like this one, like you just saw, it does really good. But once you get into the dark shadows, you can start to see those lines. Here's another one, bright blue sky. You can actually still see some of those lines in the image, but you really got to zoom in. These are going on Instagram. People really aren't going to notice that stuff, so that's just something to keep in mind. Where this could be a problem for you is if you want to blow these up large, which I actually have a fun video coming soon on just that. I can't wait for that one. You might start noticing some of those imperfections once if you want to blow it up. But there you go. Now, bonus tip for you guys: if you are working with multiple pictures here in Photoshop specifically, here's a neat trick that I wish I knew sooner, and that is when exporting your images. I was doing this so wrong for so long. What I used to be doing was I would come over here to the crop tool and manually crop these one by one, like so. Check this out. One by one, there it is. And then I would save it out, and I have my image. I would do that for every single one over here in my layers option. I would just Control Z to undo it, and then keep doing each one. But I'm here to tell you there's a better way. It's so nice. It's so nice. This will only work if you have multiple layers. Just 2. That's all you need. And I have more than 2 here. I don't need this background layer, so I'm actually going to delete that. Then I'm going to come up to File, and then I'm going to go down to Export, and then I'm going to go down to Layers to Files. And you get this window right here. You can name these. For the sake of this video, I'm not going to name them, but you can choose a destination of where you want it to go. I'm just going to drop it into my project file for my for this video inside Adobe Premiere Pro, and I'm just going to hit OK. And here's where the magic happens. So you choose the file type. You're going to want to make these PNG. There's 2 options for PNG, 8 and 24. I just go 24. It's a higher resolution. I think so. I'm pretty sure. And then I'm going to go transparency check and trim layers. What that's going to do is it's going to automatically trim and crop that to the right size that you want. It's crazy. And that's it. And then press run, and it'll just do it for you in the background automatically, individually. So much faster. It usually takes just, depending on how many photos you're doing, a few minutes to 30 seconds or so. I've done one where I had exported out like 50 photos, and yeah, it took a little while. And boom, export layers to files was successful. Now I have all those in a file right here, ready to go, pre-cropped and all ready to go. Look at that. That's a 75 DPI. That's 100. That's 300. That's 600. And then we got the 1200 right there. It's kind of a drastic difference right there. Remember, that color is slightly tweaked. So lastly, before we wrap up, I want to show you how the software works. How do you even get it into the maximum resolution for DPI? And it's really simple. All you gotta do is plug this into your computer via USB micro, which it comes with it in the box. Once it's plugged in, you have to download a driver. Just go to Epson.com and then you can search for the model number of the scanner, download it. It's free. I'll leave a link in the description below for you to just directly go there and download it. Then once you have it installed, it is pretty simple to operate from there. You don't even have to open anything to get the program running. All you have to do is turn on your scanner, put a picture in there, it'll auto grab the photo a little bit, kind of pre-line it up. Then just press the scan button and it will automatically start scanning and then open up the software. Then to change the resolution and go into the settings of the scanner, just go to the top right and click settings. Next, you're gonna click scan settings. There's really only two things you really need to adjust here, and that is the document size and the resolution size. But now, here is something to keep in mind when you scan it. This thing is not a photo scanner. It's not marketed as one. It's a document scanner. Epson does make photo scanners, but whew, they are quite expensive, and I'll probably get some and review them here on the channel, so consider subscribing if you want to check that out in the future. But it does have a slight issue when scanning small images such as Polaroids or such as Instax photos, things like that. And what I mean by that is its auto detect feature. This auto feeds through on rollers, and the photo sometimes will turn slightly as it's going through. There's no guidelines to keep it straight. So what I do is when I do scan it, I put my finger on it. I use it as a guide to help make sure the photo comes through straight. It's not perfect. I've tried to put some tape there and keep it on track. However, once the photos goes through the first track, it could turn slightly and then get jammed by hitting the other side of the tape. But there's something that I've been doing that works pretty well, but however, it adds a slight extra step per photo. And that is setting the document size. I don't use auto detect. I right now have a custom preset and named it Polaroid, and I did a 5x5 image, and that gives me a little bit of room to crop the image myself after it's scanned. Extra pro tip: once you put your photo in here and it auto grabs, pull the photo back, press the scan button, and then push it through, because what will happen is as it's scanning, it will give you a little bit of black scan on the top and bottom and on the sides of your image. That way it gives you a perfect scan for you to crop. With this a little bit of experimentation, I'm sure you can figure it out really fast, and I've been able to scan photos on this thing so fast, so much easier than I was doing it before. Now, the last thing you gotta do in here is change the DPI. You can set it to wherever you want, but I highly recommend this. Go for the max. Well, I mean, come on, might as well. Set that baby to 1200. The higher you go with your DPI, it does make the file larger. We live in an era where you can buy a 4 terabyte hard drive for like 60 bucks. Set that thing at 1200, your photo's only gonna be like a megabyte or 2. Yeah, that adds up if you're scanning thousands of photos, but even then, couple gigs at that point. No reason to be stingy in this era. Go big or go home, right? And that's all you gotta do. Make sure you click save and then you click close on that last window, and that is saved on the scanner and you're ready to go. Just start shooting them on through. You may notice it will scan a little bit slower on the maximum setting, but it's really not that big of a deal, in my opinion anyway. All right, pros and cons of the Epson scanner. Do I recommend it? Should you get it? I mean, yeah, I really like this thing. Super handy, especially being able to scan photos outside of the office or the studio or whatever you want to call it. Because I have a couple friends that we like to shoot instant photography, and we're looking at them. They're super fun, and we're like, okay, I'll scan them in, and I'll send you the link later. Why not scan them right there on the spot? Pretty nice. And then you have them in your phone, you can easily post them to the socials. I like that feature. I do wish it had a higher resolution for scanning for mobile over Wi-Fi. 300 DPI will get the job done and is very acceptable. Battery life, that's something I did not get to fully test because, well, the battery never died. I've scanned probably 50 to 60 photos and about 1 bar dropped on this thing. So I have a feeling the battery life on this is really, really good. Another thing to keep in mind, and it's also a semi-con, dust. Make sure this thing is clean. I'm kind of doing the old Super Nintendo cartridge trick to kind of keep the dust out of there. I don't know if it's actually working or not. Maybe pushing dust in further. I don't know. But I don't get the streaks every single time on each photo. It's only once in a while. So Make sure you wipe those photos down so they're nice and squeaky clean, and you're probably not gonna have a problem. But you may be asking yourself, why are you talking about the document scanner and with photos? Well, that's because of the price. I bought this at Best Buy for $160, and then quickly regretted it because on Amazon they're $130. So there's that. But the photo ones are hundreds and hundreds of dollars more. So there's that. I wanted to start here, get you guys something really nice, compact, easy to use, and it won't break the bank. Now, you may be asking yourself another question. What photos can I scan through it? Will it fit all of the formats? Yes, it will. I've scanned Polaroid Go, I've scanned Instax Mini, I've scanned Instax Square, Instax Wide, Polaroid normal photos, and I've scanned Polaroid Spectrafilm. The newer Spectrafilm too. Well, it's not really new, there's no more Spectra, but the revived Polaroid Spectrafilm, which that stuff is a little bit thicker than the previous Spectrafilm, and it scanned just fine. I had a terrible time tracking down any information on any scanners, not just this one, but any of them that would work with Polaroids. They don't market them except for 2 scanners. There's one by Canon and there's one by Epson. And the Canon one's like $450 and the one by Epson is $600. Yeah, but they actually specify on there that there are Polaroid capable to scan them. And those ones are a little bit better because you can batch scan those, and I really, really want to get that because I could throw on like 50 photos, walk away, and they'll just put them all through. And there's tracks for the photos to stay in, so your photo will, in theory, go through evenly, and you don't have to really do any sort of post-processing to the image, which is way better. But you pay a premium for that. So yeah, I'll leave links to those if you want to check them out, but I have not tested them, so, you know, do it at your own risk, but those will be down if you want to just learn more information about them. Hopefully I'll do a video on those in the future. And honorable mention attempt, it didn't quite work as planned. I thought how to make an actual copy of your Polaroid, and I'm going to do more experimenting with this later, but this was the first test. I took a photo, scanned it in, put it back to my phone, and put it on the Polaroid lab and printed it out. I used a dark image, and I'm thinking that's why it didn't come out so great, but it's worth experimenting with more, and I'm going to be doing that more in the future, so stay tuned. I love my Polaroid lab. It comes in handy. If you want to check out any of these photos that I scanned more closely, you can check out the Instagram page. I've posted several of them already. I'll be posting a lot more. I've even been going back and re-scanning some of my older stuff, and just to have a nicer copy of them, because this thing works a lot better than my previous method. But if you want to check out some of those, there's a link in the description below over to the Instagram page. And if you want to help support the channel, consider joining the monthly print club. You get a photo sent to your door monthly. And that is all we have time for today. So thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next video. Now, get out there, make some art, and scan it while you're out there.